What is good, family? It's your girl back again with another freaking video for y'all. If you have not already, subscribe, like, comment, give your feedback, show your girl some love, and you already know what the deal is. And if you have already subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and much love to you. And if you got a channel, I'll support you. Just let me know and I'll support your channel. I'll subscribe, give my feedback, whatever. So yeah, let's get right into this video. So as you can see in today's title, we are talking about the pros and the cons of joining the Army National Guard. So yeah, we're talking about the pros and cons of joining the Army National Guard. Now, I'm gonna put it out there to you guys that my pros may be your cons, and my cons may be your pros. So this is not necessarily just full out the pros and cons. Sorry, someone was calling me, so back to the video. But yeah, this is not necessarily about the pros and cons, like 100% like of joining the National Guard. This is just something that I have seen with being in the National Guard. I've been in for 2 years now, and I've talked to people, obviously. I've seen people, and these are mostly the pros and cons that I've noticed from people being in the Guard, and also me being in myself for the last 2 years. These are some of the pros and cons that I've seen for myself of joining the Army National Guard. So let's get right into this video. Let's not waste any more time. I got my list right here so I can stay on topic and really give y'all some of the pros. So right now, yeah, I'm gonna start with the pros. I'm gonna start with the good, and then I'm gonna end off with the bad. That's how we doing it today. So yeah. So first off, the first pro with joining the Army National Guard that I would say is that for most people, this is a pro. This is actually a con for me. But the reason why I'm putting it as a pro is because obviously most people join the Army National Guard because of this reason. So it's a pro for most people, but it's a con for me. So the pro of joining Army National Guard for most people is being in your hometown around family. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, so this is a pro for a lot of people of joining the Army National Guard because you're only doing drill once a month and you're doing it in your hometown, which means that you can stay around your family and friends. You know, if you're not the type of person that likes to leave home, if you like to stay close to your relatives, then that's the pro about being in the Army National Guard. If that's something that you're interested in and that's something that you want to do and you like, you know you're not one of these people that like to be adventurous and travel and be around different cultures and be away from your family, then the National Guard would definitely be for you. Like I said, that's a con for me. It's definitely 100% con because I do not like being in my hometown. I do not like being around the same people doing the same things. But that's another story. I'm not going to get into that. So this is a pro for most people that join the Guard. Second thing is schooling and healthcare. That's another pro of joining the Army National Guard. You can get your schooling paid for as long as you follow the guidelines of what the Army National Guard wants you to do. You can go to school. They will pay for your schooling. They will give you benefits of going to school as well. They'll give you a paycheck to go to school as well, depending on how many classes you take, how many hours you take, things like that. So that's a benefit of joining. That's why most people join as well, is obviously for school. This is another main reason why people join. So that's a plus. Like I said, healthcare. We all need healthcare. As you know, healthcare is really expensive. So being in the Army in general does help you to have affordable healthcare, and that's really important for all of us. So that is a plus of joining the Army National Guard as well. Third thing is you get to live a civilian life and you also get to live a military life. Now, I look at the National Guard as being Hannah Montana. For all of you who have watched Hannah Montana, I'm pretty sure most of you around my age have gone into the whole Disney Channel world, we've all watched Disney Channel, right? So we've all probably seen Hannah Montana. I don't know about the guys out there watching. I'm pretty sure you probably had sisters that watched Hannah Montana and you was watching it too. Okay, don't try to stun on me. All right, but yeah, I look at it as being Hannah Montana. Literally, one day you can be Hannah Montana, the next day you can be Miley Cyrus. So when you go to drill, you're Hannah Montana, right? You gotta get all fancied up, gotta put on your uniform, gotta go do, your work, showtime, whatever. And then when you get out of drill, you get to be yourself again. You get to be Miley Cyrus again. You ain't gotta be Hannah Montana no more, right? So that's kind of how I look at the National Guard. You get to live your civilian life, and you also get to live, you get to have some part of the military a part of your life. And I think that's a plus because you don't have to, obviously you don't have to be full-time, hoo-ha, military all day, all night. Like, you ain't gotta be all like 24/7 military mode. And that's a plus because you get to have the best of both worlds, and then you also get to have some part of the military a part of your life. You don't always have to be in civilian mode. You can be in military mode whenever you go to drill and stuff like that. So that's a plus. I think that's kind of like the fun part about being in the National Guard, is that you don't have to be there 24/7. I think that's the fun part about it, because Lord Jesus, whew. Trying to imagine. Never mind. Let's move on. And the last. Oh no. This is not the last thing. This is the second to last thing for the pros. It helps you to get certain jobs. Now, some people may disagree with this. I'm not saying being in the National Guard helps you get a bunch of jobs, because honestly, some jobs actually do honor military people and some jobs don't. So it varies depending on what kind of job you're looking for. I'm not talking necessarily about like working for like fast food or just regular retail jobs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like corporations, like more high-tech jobs. It possibly could help you in that area, maybe. It just depends on your location, like where you're at. It depends on state to state, country to country. Depending on where you're at, it possibly could help you with jobs and different opportunities. Sometimes it doesn't. Like I said, it just depends. So this could be a pro for some people, because it actually has helped some people with certain jobs and things like that. So that's why I put it on there. And the last thing we have as far as the pro is concerned with the Army National Guard is it keeps you focused and dedicated to something, and it gives you some type of structure. Especially in my opinion, I think that with being in the Army National Guard, being in the Army in general, like whether you're in the Army National Guard or your active duty Army, obviously it keeps you focused and it keeps you dedicated to something, and it does give you some type of structure. So I think that like, and for some people obviously discipline, but I think that like it has definitely helped. It definitely helps you to stay dedicated to something. And I think in life, being dedicated to something is a hard thing, you know what I'm saying? And I think with having to sign a contract and be a part of something like an organization like the military, you pretty much have to be dedicated to it, because there's really kind of no way of getting out of it. So I think that that's a big pro for a lot of people, especially if you're younger. We all need some type of structure in our life and stuff like that. So that's one of the last things I would say is the biggest pro of being in the National Guard. So obviously there's some good things that come out of it, you know what I'm saying? So here's some of the pros that I would say of joining. So if you're considering joining, these may be some of your pros of joining. I'm such a weirdo, bro. Anyways, moving on. We're going on to the cons. I'm such a weirdo, bro. Anyways, moving on. We're going on to the cons now. These are the cons of joining the Army National Guard, from what I've noticed, from what I've seen, from talking to people, and also from myself, from what I've noticed with being in. So let's go. The first one I would say is, first con is you're only experiencing the military from your particular state's perspective. So whatever state you're in, you're only experiencing the military from where you're at. Like, so let's say you're in Ohio, let's say you're in Massachusetts, let's say you're in Hawaii, let's say you're in California, let's say you're in Louisiana, let's say you're in, you know what I'm saying, let's say you're in Texas, let's say you're in Florida. You get where I'm going with this. You're only experiencing the military from your state perspective. Like, you're not really getting the full-on experience of what the military has to offer, because you're only in your state and you're only going once a month. So you're not really experiencing like all of what the Army is. And I think that's kind of a con, especially for me, because I only see the Army from Louisiana's perspective. I don't see it from worldwide view, the way an active duty person would, because I know even though an active duty person, they're gonna get stationed wherever the Army puts them, but still, all in all, depending on how long they stay in, if they stay in long enough, they'll get to experience the Army full enough, because the Army's still gonna push them to different places. Like, one day you may be in America, the next day you may be in a different country. One day you may be in Germany for a couple of years, active duty, and the next day you may be stationed in California. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's actually something that, you know, you get to say you've experienced the world, and you've also gotten to say you experienced what the Army was like on all levels, because you weren't just in your hometown around the same people doing the same thing, you know, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of a con of joining. That's obviously a con of joining the Army National Guard, especially for some people like me, that's very spontaneous, very adventurous. It's definitely a huge con for me. Second thing I would say is it cuts into your civilian job. So like I said, you have a civilian life and you also have a military life. So going to drill, sometimes it does cut into like your civilian job, because it's like, you know, you get paid differently on military standards. Like, so whenever you go to drill, it like kind of cuts into the pay that you're supposed to be getting from your civilian job, because now you have to go to drill, and then now, you know, you gotta wait for a drill check, and Lord knows when the drill check comes in. That's like a magical check that comes in whenever, like 10 days after drill, you get a check. So it's like that. I call it the magical check. So it's like, compared to like your job, you already know when you're gonna get paid from your civilian job. So whenever you have to go to drill, it kind of throws off your civilian check and your civilian pay. So that kind of affects like your regular life a little bit, because you're trying to juggle both, and sometimes it gets hard to juggle, you know, trying to keep up with all this military stuff, and like I'm not even there enough to even keep up with this stuff, and then I'm mostly at my civilian job, so I'm trying to keep up with that, and then keep up with military stuff, and then, you know, throwing off my check because I gotta go to drill this weekend. So that's kind of frustrating about joining, trying to keep up with both sides, and the cutting into your, so, you know, you could get called up for different situations and things like that. So it is kind of like a hindrance sometimes, but at the same time, it does help you as well, because you're still getting paid, obviously, because you still are getting paid to go to drill. But it's like your civilian job is where you're at majority of the time. So that's kind of like a con. It just kind of cuts into things sometimes. So I would consider that a con. And the last thing I'll say about joining the Army National Guard, a con would be signing a 6-year contract. I think that's like, oh my god. All right, I'm being dramatic. But yeah, signing a 6-year contract is definitely, I think, a con, because of the fact of like, if you join the Army National Guard, like I said in my previous video, I did a Q&A, you're most likely going to sign a 6-year contract, because without signing a 6-year contract, you won't get the benefits of going to school and things like that. So what's the point of signing a 3-year contract whenever you rarely get benefit? You don't get benefits to go to school, and the point of National Guard is to go to school. So most people are going to sign a 6-year contract, because obviously you're going to need benefits. So signing a 6-year contract is a long time. It's a long time to dedicate your life to something. And I feel like, it was hard for me to just, oh my god, sign a 6-year contract, because I feel like, man, that's like, you know how much I can do in 6 years? Like, did I really sign 6 years? So I think that's a con, having to sign a 6-year contract. Like, if we could have signed a 3-year contract and still gotten benefits, I guarantee majority of people would have signed a 3-year contract. But You know, compared to like, you know, active duty, you can sign a 4-year contract and still get all your benefits. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, that's kind of like, wow, like 4 years can pass by in nothing, you know what I'm saying, in no time. But 6 years, oh my God. But people say it does go by fast. I don't know. I'm only on my 2nd year right now, going into my 3rd. So I'm now on my 3rd, I'm working on my 3rd year right now, 2020. So I don't know how fast it's going, but people say it goes by fast. Hopefully it goes by fast. Oh man, how funny. But yeah, overall, guys, joining the military, like I said in my previous video, it's not a bad thing. I think overall it's definitely a good decision for people that are trying to better themselves and trying to get a good start in life. So if you haven't joined the Army yet, great, because watching this video could hopefully this video helps you to decide whether you feel like you want to go the Army National Guard route. Like I said, you can watch my Q&A video, or you can watch my Army National Guard active duty video, which kind of explains the difference between the two and could possibly help you decide which route you want to go. So hopefully this video helped you to really weigh out the pros and cons of joining, and really gave you some insight of what you could potentially be getting yourself into if you do decide to join the Army National Guard, or if you want to go the other route. But yeah, so this is something that you want to keep in mind. So hopefully this helped you out. And thank y'all for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank y'all for staying real. Thank y'all for staying committed. Y'all stay motivated, stay inspired, and you already know your girl will be back with another freaking video. Peace.